With that. All right, welcome here, everyone. I am so excited about today. I have so been looking forward to this conversation. Honestly, the group of women that is part of Love the Woman in the Mirror is they're all amazing. They're all incredible. And today we get to speak with Nilsson, who is another one of those incredible human beings that's really given her life to be of service to others. Anne is a coach and a mentor and a healer, and really has this desire to bring out the best in people and to bring people into that life that really lights them up and illuminates them. And so, Anne, I'm just so excited that you're here today. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for you. And thank you for inviting me to this space.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, Anne, and about what it is that you do.
Well, I do a lot of different things, and I came to them late in life. I had always been doing what I thought I should be doing
Mm.
instead of what my heart told me. I always ignored that. And so I was always in a very corporate space, making, fine money and just puttering along, but it always felt wrong. And I got sick. I mean, but I kept going. And
Mm-hmm.
I eventually left work in 2009, and was eventually diagnosed with complex PTSD, which I had had from my childhood. But I was always super high functioning that I could continue. And so that led me on when I was well enough, still not well, but led me to exploring a lot of edges and a lot of alternative modalities so I could claim my wellness. And yeah, it wasn't an easy journey. And really, I was just supposed to take a pill and take a much lower job and be okay with that. But this
Mm.
opened a whole opportunity for me to start living my life much more authentically.
You know, you bring up a very interesting point, and that is this idea of if we need to take a moment for ourselves, if we need to do that inner healing and that inner growth, that automatically sort of comes with a lowering of the standards of what you're capable of.
Mhm.
Right? So I need to take a moment to take care of myself. Well, then I should take a lower paying job and I should take a job that's less, stressful or less whatever. And it's
Mhm.
interesting because what you've actually done is you've actually become so much more. You've actually really expanded what you're capable of. And that's a beautiful thing, but that's a huge stigma. I think when you do need to take that time
Mhm.
to heal yourself. And I'm curious if you felt that, and if you did feel that, how did you react to that? Or how did you kind of process that part of it as well?
Well, back in back in 2009, PTSD wasn't really quite heard of. Um, some people were aware that soldiers had it. So yeah, I had to hide it for a while because I felt so much less than. I was used to being super strong and handling everything, and I couldn't handle anything anymore. And I had to build myself from the bottom up. And it did take me 10 years, traveling all over the world, being in the jungles of Belize and um, all sorts of different modalities that I got to experience. But bit by bit, I was able to reclaim myself and I know what's possible. So this is
Mhm.
where I get super passionate about, wow, there's so much more that we know. And, that the regular everyday person knows. And really, it's about claiming awareness and consciousness and moving from survival into flow. Flow is possible, but we forget. And so, what I'm passionate about is providing these tools that I've learned um, for people to create more conscious lives. And when you're living more consciously, things become easier and happier. Families become healthier. Connection becomes easier. Um, and you start embracing your own gifts. So it's just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, oh, 100%. And I love it because what it's bringing up for me when you describe this way of being, it's like when we believe in all the shoulds and ought tos and have tos, it's almost like we're wearing glasses with the wrong prescription in them and
Mhm.
nothing is clear. And so it makes life very, very difficult. We're doing jobs that we don't necessarily feel passionate about. We're, participating in behavior that doesn't fill us up. And it's literally because we cannot see clearly. Like we cannot see what we really need. And what I love is this journey that you're describing to
Mhm.
taking off those that wrong prescription and really reclaiming the sight that you
Yeah.
actually have, because so much of it, and tell me if you agree or disagree, and so much of it is you knew this, you just needed to remember.
Yes. It's connecting to our inner wisdom, our knowing. None of us are broken.
Mm,
There's nothing wrong with us. We have everything we need to be living a fulfilled life, a fully embodied life. We have it all. It's just about reconnecting to that. And I
yeah.
think now, from your earlier question, now the world or society is much more aware, and there's a shift happening in consciousness, that there's a larger movement. So I think the world is ready for some of, uh, for for bleh, lack of better word, um, for moving and living a more conscious life.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that things are coming so the things are becoming so obvious,
Mhm.
and people's discontentment is becoming so strong with living this kind of status quo. Here's how we're supposed to do it because we've always done it sort of life.
Mhm.
That we have to shift, and I think it's really interesting. And maybe this is slightly off topic, but I think this is a
That's okay.
fascinating thing. Let's do that. But I think like we were promised the American dream, and I mean we're Canadian, but we're
Mhm.
promised the American dream. And when we get there, we all of a sudden realize that's no more fulfilling than anything else. That
Right.
we have that we take ourselves everywhere, and if we're not happy inside, that the American dream most certainly isn't going to
Well,
make you happy.
I mean, sorry,
No, please go
we
ahead.
still function that way no matter what. Um, I think it's really easy to look outside ourselves. I mean, that is what we've learned to do. Look outside yourself for happiness. And we certainly, a lot of people who remain unconscious will never look inside. Um, and it was hard for me to do that because I thought, oh, I believed all my wrongness and all the badness, the perception I had of I must be evil or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was no way I was going to look at that. It will just, tell me everything I believed is true, but that's not the case.
Yeah,
We are
and
all such a beautiful gift.
totally. And it's such an interesting thing because as human beings, we so desperately want to put things in a good or bad box. And
Mhm,
instead of looking at it like, well, we'll see. We'll
mhm.
see. Maybe this is going to be great for me. Maybe this isn't going to be great for me. No, we want to say good or bad. And we do the
Yeah.
same thing, I think, with our personality traits. Like, oh, my impatience, it has to be bad. And my, self sacrifice must be good. And it's like, well, hold
Mhm.
on. If we don't put bad or good to it, if we just say,
Yeah.
let's see, right? And then let it unfold in front of us and then just accepting that experience. I think that's a much easier way to walk through life, but you do have to deal with uncertainty. And no, human beings and uncertainty, we're not friends.
No, because most of us live from a place of fear,
Yeah.
and how do we keep that fear at bay? And so I love how you describe this unfolding because yeah, that's exactly, and there's that picture of the very tight bud, and the flower slowly opening and unfolding. It's exactly
Yeah.
that. But there's so many of us that want to just remain this way because we're
Yeah.
too scared. And it's so it is a process, and you go slow and you start being kind to yourself. I mean, I really had to learn to be kind to myself. I was so
Mm.
mean to
Yeah.
me. I was so good to everybody outside of me, but to my own self, I was not. And so there's a whole reframing and learning not to, because you spoke about it, the polarization of good and bad and right and wrong, to move out of polarization because there's no healing there.
Yeah.
There's just confrontation constantly with those when everything is polar opposite. Um, so there was a lot of learning, but I love learning. I just am going to continue learning the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And you said something so interesting, and then you talked about learning, and then I went on that path. I'm going to see if I
I
can
know,
pull
I'm
it
sorry.
back. No, no, no. This is me. This is me seeing something shiny and then going after it. What did you say? You said something. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna once we're done talking, and then I'm gonna go do something, and then I'm gonna go. Oh, that's what it was. But I just thought it was so fascinating. So here's a question for you, Anne. Along the way, as you went and you worked on your own healing, what are some of the modalities that you went, oh, these things
Mm.
are important, and how did you turn them into things that you do for people as well?
Well, where do I start? Um,
Where do you start when you're a multi-talented woman, right?
well, no, I was just desperate to be healed. But okay, so really in the beginning, I just made sure because I had two frozen shoulders when I left work as well.
Mm,
Um, my body was going to get its message across. I did I did massage therapy, I did chiropractor, I did acupuncture. I embraced all of these in the beginning regularly, and they became a part of my healing in the beginning because I'd never taken advantage of my extended health. So now
mm,
I thought, oh, I need to do that. And of course, I had a counselor and a GP. But then I thought, and I did tapping and I learned tapping. I did EMDR. I, and this was all in the very early stages. But when I was well enough, I still wasn't well. But after 2 years of this, I thought, okay, I'm impatient. What more? What more can
mm,
I do? So then I launched myself out onto an outward bound um, trip for Women of Courage, which is all for women who have experienced trauma. And I wasn't ready for that, but I went and did it. It was about, just do it because it's going to create something. And I was totally in anxiety and everything, but it all changed stuff. And then I was out with a group of women after that, pushing myself with a group of women. We were called the Red Women, um, and doing a whole lot of different healing modalities, which meant tantra, all sorts of different dancing, um, all sorts of different communication styles, nutrition. So, and then I was introduced in that modality to Saida Desolé, who I thought, wow, she just sort of shines on,
mm,
wow, she's so beautiful. And she was the one that where I first experienced, she teaches Jade Egg and many other things. She's kind of the founder of the Jade Egg movement. And at that point, it was reclaiming that part of me that had been taken.
mm,
And she was the first one where I did all her exercises that I started connecting to me, or actually even just connecting to my body. I mean, I was
mm,
functioning way out here in in the clouds, a wonderful place to be.
Mm,
But this is where I connected to my body. And then through that work, and I also went to Africa with her and was out in the bush, reconnecting to the earth and reclaiming my wild, um,
mm,
sleeping under
beautiful.
the stars. And then the next bit was I came across access consciousness. Um, and I just saw it and listened to my knowing. I had no
Mm,
idea what it was, but signed up for a class, paid the money, and went. And that actually was a huge needle mover in my life. From, yeah, I was okay, I was fine, sort of. But there were still a lot of wounded areas in me that kept me from being me. And it was in practicing access bars was just this needle mover. I eventually, within 2 years, I don't have those PTSD symptoms anymore.
wow.
So it was a beautiful thing. And then, of course, I'm always adding, but, those are the two main areas, the work with Saida Desolé and then access bars.
That's
So,
beautiful. And now you do access bars for other people.
yeah.
I know I've had the opportunity to work with you, had an incredible experience. And so is that your main modality now for helping others, or what other things
Well,
do you
it
do?
kind of, with COVID, it kind of went sideways for a bit. And, um, I
Because it's
am.
a hands-on
It
modality.
is a hands-on modality, but through it and through the different certifications I have, I'm able to teach workshops now. So I'm happiest teaching, and I teach access bars. Um, so and through that, um, when I put my hands on people, it's always a beautiful thing because you never see the change in yourself right away, or very rare. But you can have a person come on the table and you give them a session, and you can see when they get up that, oh my gosh, they are clearer.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah.
yeah. And I do really love that. I've had teenagers come to me who are all in their super cool mode.
Mhm. I have
Yeah,
two of those
yeah,
in my home right now.
yeah, we know it all. And I have an actual personal relationship with these kids.
Mm.
And I thought, really? I just want the person I know, and I can give them a session, and then you got your sweetie back,
Oh, that's
because it's like, oh,
beautiful.
they're real now. They've thrown all that facade aside
Yeah.
and are actually thankful for it, because it's a lot of work maintaining a facade.
Yeah, it is. And that's the heavy burden that you carry, right? Like, and I
Mhm,
think sometimes, and I am a mom of two teenagers, like reminding myself of that, like this idea of I have to be someone, which is so prevalent when you're a teenager.
mhm,
That's a
mhm,
hard, like that's like carrying a
mhm.
backpack loaded with bricks
Yeah.
constantly everywhere you go. So I love the fact that you can give them a release from that and be
Mhm.
like, let's connect to your real self again for a
Oh, yeah.
moment.
Well, I
Which is,
love sorry,
no, you go
I'm
ahead,
bad.
please. You're not bad. You're passionate. I love it. I love it. No, please continue.
Oh, okay. It's just that's what I love about teaching it to just family units, because it can change so much within a family, like create so much more joy and ease where things were difficult. Those times in the morning when you're all trying to get to school or work, and then in the evening when you're tired, hungry, and those are huge friction times. But what if there was something that all of you could do, because kids learn it. It's so much ease for them to learn.
Mhm.
And you can get together for, as I've said this many times, for a Friday movie night, and then trade and give each other bars while you're watching the movie, and release all that
Incredible.
stuff and sort of bring your family back from all the stress and drama and trauma of the week.
And I think that's something that does put access bars on a different level. This idea of you can incorporate it with the other things that you're doing, right? If you're doing,
Mhm.
family movie night or whatever, if
Mhm.
you're sitting at the beach or whatever, there's nothing that stops you from doing it,
Yeah.
because all it takes is two willing people,
Yes.
and that's amazing. So, question for you, Anne: what are you going to be doing with Love the Woman in the Mirror? What can women
Oh,
look
right.
forward to with that? Because one, I mean, obviously, if we could meet in person, we would all love to get bars done by you.
Mhm.
And I want to give women the opportunity to connect with you for that as well. But with women or Love the Woman in the Mirror, what is it that you're planning on offering us? What wisdom are you going to bestow on us?
Um, wisdom. Oh, I better come up with something. No, I'm facilitating a happiness workshop,
Mm,
and it's tools and tips to start creating a little bit more conscious choice in your life. And the thing is, when we're in a state of joy or happiness, I don't I don't define a difference between the two, but we're in that state, everything becomes easier
mhm.
and people gravitate towards you. And it's not a popular thing in our society to be happy. When we get together, we usually compare our dramas and traumas. Like, look at the young people. And when we're old, we compare our aches and pains. And so we're constantly making ourselves smaller to fit in. And we're lowering our vibration, um, our awareness. And so everything, it is difficult to experience real joy or happiness. So I'm going to do a workshop on giving you some tips, and we'll do some exercises and we'll have some fun, I hope.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
usually pretty,
I
I'm
you
usually
will.
pretty fun.
You are pretty fun.
Mhm. So that's what I'm giving, and it just, they'll walk away with tools on how they can make changes in their lives, and just simple
Mhm.
simple things.
I love that, and I so agree with you, and I find especially for women, right? Like if you sit down with a bunch of women and someone says something nice about one of the women, that woman will normally respond with, "Oh no, 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 no," right? This
Mhm,
complete denial of her own
mhm,
greatness. And I think getting together with women and encouraging each other, hey,
mhm,
notice your own greatness, celebrate your own greatness, because that means I finally can too, instead of
yes,
having to dumb myself down as well, right? And
mhm,
I love the fact that that's something that you are an advocate for and something that you're passionate about. That is
mhm.
just beautiful. And so I know I will definitely be at your workshop, pen and paper, taking notes, absolutely. But if someone wants to connect with you for access bars, is that something you're doing now, or with COVID restrictions, is that not quite possible yet, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I should have I see, because I was functioning out of my home, and so I'm not doing that anymore. But I can make it happen if that
Mhm.
means I travel. Um, so there's that. If people are interested in learning about this modality, they can contact me if they are interested. So, you can, I have a phone number, I have an Instagram. I think my Instagram is Yes to Joy.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, and then on Facebook, you can reach me at Access Bars with Anne. So there are different. I'm around.
You're around. And then, of course, with Love the Woman in the Mirror, you're doing that happiness workshop for us there. So if you're looking for an entry point to get to know Anne and to
Mhm,
get to know her work,
mhm.
100% people should come and join us for that, because I know that'll be incredible.
Yes.
And so thank you so much. And honestly, one, for just being a light in this world. You're doing good and important work, and we so appreciate that. And two, for being part of this. We want to build communities that lift women up, and the fact that you're
Yes.
willing to be a part of it and join us in that journey, we are forever grateful. And I know that the women that come to the workshop will be incredibly
It's
impacted.
it's it's gonna be an amazing, like, all the workshops are
Yeah.
gonna be super amazing, life changing, I would think, and
Hmm.
just I think you'd leave being a much more expanded self
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
start implementing those things into your life that you learn. So,
I
but
love it.
anyways, thank you so much for having me here as
Oh,
well.
thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we will see you again in the future. We'll be doing more of these interviews. And hopefully we'll be seeing you at a Love the Woman in the Mirror event coming to you soon. Until then, thank you everyone for joining us. Take care.
Bye-bye.